Right of co-owners. The right of co-owners are described in section 50. A patent can be granted to two or more persons, and when there is no clear demarcation of what their shares are, the default position is that they have an equal undivided share in a patent. Each proprietor is entitled to rights conferred by section 48 for his own benefit. Section 48 details the right of a patentee, so both the proprietors have the rights in the patent. And we use the word proprietor to mean to a patent, to refer to a patentee. Now, licensing of patents that are co-owned, that are owned by two or more people, has to be done with the consent of all the proprietors, all the owners. If one owner does not consent, it becomes hard to license the patent. Now, there are some cases where direction can be issued to the co-owners. They are mentioned in section 51. Directions are issued when there are some issues with regard to their ownership, and these directions are issued by the controller. When an application is made to the controller for direction, you use form 11. Now, this could be with regard to a sale, lease, or license of a patent. Now, this direction could be with regard to exercise of any right under section 50. The directions have to be complied within 14 days, and the directions are given to execute in such person's name. Now, before the directions are issued, an opportunity is given to be heard wherever the co-owner is concerned, whose interest will be affected. An opportunity is given to be heard. There is also a provision where the controller has certain powers with regard to a grant that is obtained through fraud. Now, this is covered under section 52. Now, patents which are obtained through false representations, it is a ground for revocation. In 64, there is a ground to revoke a patent which has been obtained by false representation. Either the IPAB or the court may permit grant to the petitioner such inventions obtained by fraud. If someone obtained a patent by fraud, the original owner can ask for the patent to be granted to the original owner or the petitioner who says that this was obtained through fraud. Now, the patent will bear the same date and number as the patent revoked. Now, so the one obtained by fraud will be revoked, and the petitioner will be made the patentee. This is required to file a new and a complete specification. The same number and the same date, the priority is preserved and the number is preserved, but the petitioner will be required to file a new and a complete specification. Now, there are some cases where there can be a declaration by an infant or a lunatic. Again, this pertains to right of owners of a patent. That is covered not in the sequence of sections which you see, that is 50, 51. It is covered in section 148. The lawful guardians of a infant or a lunatic have the right to carry out the act required by the act and the rules on behalf of a lunatic, a minor or other persons having any disability. Meaning which, if an infant or a lunatic, a person who can't take his own decisions, becomes the owner by illegally inherits from say his parents patent, and there is an issue with regard to what that person can do with regard to certain acts they need to do, whether they can file an infringement suit because it's a granted patent, or whether they can pay the renewal fee. Such a person can be appointed by the court, also appointed on request of a person interested.